It's your boy, Amreezy, and I'm back with another Road to Sorare Boss episode where we follow my journey in the wonderful world of Sorare. We're back to doing weekly Road to Sorare Boss episodes because the European season is around the corner. I can smell it. I'm getting a whiff of the Premier League. I can smell it. It's so close. What a lot of fun we're having. I am just so excited about Sorare right now, having so much fun on Sorare, spending lots of money on Sorare, enjoying it. Can't wait for the new season. Can't wait to see if my in-season strategy pays off. I'm going to show you this video, which in-season Premier League cards I've been buying so far and why. Also, my thoughts around that. And usually in the last couple of videos, it's been quiet. And I've been showing you my gallery and it's been like, oh, I bought one new card and it's a classic West Ham defender for 30p from 2 seasons ago to help with my collection. Those have been the recent kind of, that's how I felt like it's recently been gone. But this time we've got in-season Premier League cards, big money, exciting cards, and the possibility with the Hot Streaks ×5 competition on Sorare coming up, which is really what's kind of pushed me to go in-season early access this season, because last season I didn't go early access cards. I kind of waited a few months. I think I waited for the second international break and then I went into the Premier League in season. This season, Hot Streaks ×5 has really drawn me in, but also knowing Sorare better now as a game, how the cash rewards can work, how getting cards earlier on, yes, they're more expensive, but there's a bigger chance of earning some rewards earlier on than waiting later. And I'm excited. I'm loving it. I made a video yesterday. If you are a Sorare newbie, if you've never played Sorare before, or you're a beginner and you're just getting into it, I made a video yesterday on my channel for like a beginner's guide to my kind of thinking around prices, because a lot of people are asking me like, what these cards seem too expensive, or is this card worth it? Is this card worth it? So I made a video basically on that topic. Is this card worth it? My thoughts on what I think a card is worth and if prices are worth it. Go check that out if you're a newbie, a beginner, or if you're a pro and you know someone who might be into Sorare, show them the video. It helped me out. If you want to help me out even more, like, subscribe, comment, all of that good stuff. And if you've never played Sorare before, use the link in my description and you'll get £50, dollars, euros, whatever your currency is, for free. Your credits, you'll get that in Sorare after you've bought 5 cards at auction. So if that interests you, use my link. It helps me, helps you. That's all the promo out of the way. Let's start off with looking at, let's jump straight into the deep end. Let's look at my cards, the cards that I've been buying since last week's video. Let's go. Right then, gang, here we go. We are deep within the AFC Amreezy Sorare collection, and these are the cards that I bought since last week. These cards here. I think the last card I showed you was this Monaco card that I bought. This card takes my Monaco collection to 5%. Happy days. And then we went on a run. We have been on a run, folks. So first one I got was Moises Caicedo. Now, the reason why I'm doing that, and I'm going to explain my strategy here. What I'm thinking is backing early on Chelsea, because that's my team, but not just because that's my team. If you've watched my channel for a while now, last season I didn't buy any Chelsea cards because yes, I'm a Chelsea fan, but I'm not going to buy Chelsea cards if I'm not genuinely optimistic about that team, if I think they're going to do well. But for the first time in a long while, I'm genuinely optimistic about Chelsea. I genuinely think they've got now a really good squad together. Momentum's building. They're playing nice football. They've got good players. So I'm not using my fan hat. I'm using my football head here. It's a bit of both, really. I really like having Chelsea cards. Again, I really like that Chelsea are in a bit more of a positive mood. But what I've done because I'm aiming for Sorare streaks, the hot streaks. And I think I've been looking at the fixtures. I've been looking at form. I've been looking at the storylines and long-term thinking for the whole season. So the 2 teams that I'm early backing are Chelsea and Tottenham. Part of the reason for that is they're both in the Champions League, so I can play these cards in season Champions League as well. And if you look at the English teams that are in the Champions League, there's Manchester City, Arsenal, Liverpool, and they're too expensive. They're, well, not too expensive in quotes, but they're more expensive, and also I think everyone's going to go for them. They're the obvious picks. So I think to go a bit different, because if you go a bit different and then you do well, you've got a bigger chance of beating everyone on the leaderboard who's gone Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, all of those teams. So Chelsea and Tottenham for me represent really good value. They're cheaper than the Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool cards. They're going to be in the same competitions. And I think if you look at the fixtures, Chelsea and Tottenham have really nice sort of first 6 games have nice fixtures. And I'm being ambitious here. I'm playing the hot streaks competition as if I'm going to get to the 5th hot streak. Now, it's very unlikely, I know, but I'm giving myself the best chance of doing well in that hot streaks ×5 competition before I get knocked out and it goes down to ×2. So with that in mind, Chelsea and Tottenham, I like the fixtures. I like that they have Champions League football. And I also think they're going to have good seasons. With Thomas Frank at Spurs, I think he's going to do a much better job in the league than Ange did. So I think Thomas Frank, steady pair of hands, knows the league well, should tighten up their defence, which will be huge for Spurs. And then I think he's got attackers that are probably better than the attackers he had at Brentford. So there's no reason to think he can't do really well at Spurs. So I'm backing Chelsea and Spurs. So the first cards I bought were Caicedo, Cucurella, and Colwill. That's my 3 Chelsea players. I think I want 2 Chelsea defenders for now, and we'll flesh out the collection later on in the season when prices come down a bit and we win rewards, hopefully. So I've gone for those 3. Then I've topped up my Barcelona collection. My Barcelona collection, because of him, and him, are now at 5%. So I've got my Barcelona, not yet. In 30 days' time, my Barcelona collection is going to be at 5%. So I've done a bit of classic topping up of the gallery as well, just to be a bit responsible. So Hector Falk is a young, promising defender for Barcelona. Could be a nice card for the future. Frankie de Jong was a player that I always wanted last season because I went for Xavi and Dani Olmo, and I was always like, I should have gone for de Jong. He's the one. So now I've got him in. I feel happy. And I've got the winter edition, the card design that I think... This is my favorite Sorare card design, I think, ever. Even the old ones where people say, oh, we like the hexagon ones, all of that stuff. Nah. For me, the best ever Sorare design was the winter editions last year. So I got a Frankie de Jong there. And Pablo Torre, I think he's rumored to be leaving Barcelona, maybe going to Mallorca or Espanyol or someone like that. So he could be getting first team football at another Spanish team. And if he does well, boom, 5% bonus on top of him. Happy days. Then we go to the first Spurs cards I got. So I got Pedro Porro and Dominic Solanke. Now I got these 2 cards because I think Pedro Porro is going to be, I think he's going to have a really good season. I think he's going to be the highest scoring Spurs player. Maybe there's another one who I got as well. I'll show you that in a bit. But I think Pedro Porro, I just seem to remember Brentford being quite wing heavy. Pedro Porro was really attacking with Ange. I don't think that's going to change that much. And I think they're going to tighten up the defense. So I think he could even chip in with a few more clean sheets this season. Attacking returns are there for Pedro Porro. So I think he's a great pick. Solanke, I think, is a very undervalued striker right now. He may be injured for the first game of the season, but that's a maybe. Thomas Frank, in the interview, said he might play the next preseason friendly. And if he does that, I'm expecting him to play like 60 minutes maybe on the first game of the season if he plays in the preseason friendly. So I'm keeping my eye on Dominic Solanke. If he doesn't play any preseason football, probably won't put him in a lineup. But I think it's worth the risk. And I got him for £22. He's going for cheaper than now. I've seen him for like, what's a Dominic Solanke going for nowadays? His recent price is £15, £13, £12. So like, I think there's really good value there. I think because of his slight injury doubt, that might be affecting the price. But from everything they're saying in the press conferences, Thomas Frank he's saying it's not a serious injury and that he'll be back really soon, maybe for the Super Cup. A Super Cup could be a really good indicator of what the first 11 for Spurs is going to be. So I'll be paying close attention to that now that I've got a few Spurs cards. So I got them in. I got Gabriel Magalhaes. We'll just call him Gabriel. I got Gabriel from Arsenal. And the reason why I've done that is because of the bonuses this year in Sorare, where if you have 2 players from one club, if you don't have any more than 2 players from one club in a lineup, you get a little 2% bonus. So I'm kind of thinking of peppering in, so getting Chelsea and Spurs, but then getting a few other players. Arsenal are one of the, not teams, I'm just going to get Gabriel. I don't have my eye on any other Arsenal player. But I just feel like, again, this price I feel like is a little bit lower than what I usually see Gabriel going for. And again, that's because there's a slight injury doubt. But the first game of the season for Arsenal is Manchester United, I think, away. It's Manchester United away. Or at home. It's Manchester United, basically. It's not the easiest game. So even if he misses that first game of the season, he's probably not going to score that great. I'm not getting him for that, basically. The second game of the season is... I've got to go check this out now. I've got to go and see who the fixtures are. This is interesting. I don't think I know exactly how to find it. Here we go. Fixture. So their first game of the season is Manchester United away. And Gabriel's injury is a bit like Solanke's injury, where he's not a serious injury, and he might play this game. He's not 100% ruled out of the game. Oh, what have I done here? So I think Gabriel's worth it for that. And I think once he's back to full fitness, it could be this game. Leeds United at home. That could be a nice clean sheet there. And Gabriel's the kind of player that I'm thinking long-term about. He's in the Champions League, so I'm already thinking about Champions League midweek fixtures, but he's a solid Premier League defender who he can just be that one player I put in my lineups from another team, because I'm thinking my lineups are going to be two from one team, and then one guy from another team. So I kind of want just random good players from the Premier League, and Gabriel fits that bill perfectly. So that's why I got him. Then we have Solanke. Then we have João Paulinho, who I got for £13. Card 2. Serial number 2, João Paulinho. I think he's going to be amazing at Spurs. They've been crying out for a player like him since Dembele? Sissoko? Modric? How far back are we going to go? I think they really need a player like Paulinho, someone who just can sit, hold that defense, wins a lot of tackles, and I think his price is quite low because of his last season at Bayern Munich. I think a lot of people are thinking, oh, he had a bad season at Bayern Munich, he's therefore washed as a player. I don't think that at all. I think he was really unlucky not to play at Bayern Munich. I think he was signed by one Bayern Munich manager. That manager got sacked. Company came in. Company didn't like him. And I think I don't think that's fair. One way of looking at it is he's really rested. He's had a whole season off, basically. Now he's fully fresh, probably with a point to prove, because, yeah, he had a bad year last year in his career. It's World Cup year. I forgot to say, it's World Cup year. So a lot of the cards I've been buying, I'm also thinking ahead to the World Cup. Caicedo will play for Ecuador, Cucurella for Spain, Colwell for England, Porro for Spain, Gabriel for Brazil. Solanke probably won't play for England, but he'll probably be in the squad. Paulinho could play for Portugal. If he has a really good year for Spurs, maybe he gets in the Portugal squad. So that's why I've got João Paulinho. I think he's one of those really good value players that I think are going under the radar at the moment. Then I got João Pedro, spent the big bucks on João Pedro and Robert Sanchez to fully flesh out that Chelsea starting lineup. So I'm making a really strong Chelsea team. I'm not going for Cole Palmer this year. Not yet. He's like £150. You can get João Pedro and Robert Sanchez for the same price as Cole Palmer. And I have a Cole Palmer in Classic. So my thinking is I'm going to play Cole Palmer as my Classic card, Sanchez, Pedro, Caicedo and Cucurella as the 4 players around him. And then I got Ollie Watkins, a little bit like my Gabriel Pitt thinking. I'm thinking I'm going to get more Villa players than Arsenal players because I want Morgan Rogers as well. And this goes on to a very frustrating thing I've been having with Sorare. Sorare, if you're listening, if anyone from Sorare is listening, go check the support emails. Sorare haven't emailed me back. I emailed them 4 days ago. And then I emailed them again 2 days ago because I bid for Morgan Rogers. I won the card. It said, I have a little thing on where you look at your auctions and you see the past auctions that you won and lost. And it says, Morgan Rogers, you won. But then when you click on the card, it doesn't show like anyone owns that card. It just shows like the card, but no owner, no price history, nothing. So I don't know if I've got that Morgan Rogers card. I don't know if I need to buy another Morgan Rogers card. I don't know if Sorare took my money from that Morgan Rogers card. So basically that's an issue I'm currently battling with the Sorare support email about at the moment. So get back to me, Sorare, hurry up. But my thinking is, if that Rogers deal didn't happen, I'm going to try and get another Morgan Rogers card because I want Watkins and Rogers from Villa, just those two. I might get more Villa players. The problem with that is I don't know who the goalkeeper is going to be. And I think that's a huge problem for Villa. And they haven't signed anyone this summer. I think they're going to do all of their transfers really late on. So my thinking with Villa is Watkins and Rodgers should be safe. Because the rumours were Watkins were that he might go to Manchester United. But now that Man United are signing Sesko, I don't think they're going to sign Watkins. So Watkins should be staying at Villa. And also fixtures are great for Villa in those first few weeks of the season. We're thinking Sorare X5, hot streaks times 5. If we're thinking like that, Villa have got great fixtures. They've got Newcastle, I think, of the first game of the season. So again, I'm not in a super rush to get my Villa players for game week 1. I might wait for game week 2, which gives me more time to see who do they sign, who's going to be their goalkeeper, all of these kind of things. If their goalkeeper is going to be Emi Martinez still, that could be a nice signing as well. But I'm thinking I'm not going to sign any more goalkeepers because look at these fixtures. They've got Newcastle at home, and Newcastle are in a mess. Not signed anyone. This could be a nice game. This could be nicer than it looks. Brentford, Crystal Palace, Everton. Those are nice fixtures. Maybe not for clean sheets, but I'm not going for defenders at the moment. I'm going for Watkins and Rodgers. So I think Watkins and Rodgers can score against Everton, can score against Crystal Palace, can score against Brentford, and against an out-of-shape Newcastle with confidence a bit all over the place, could probably score against Newcastle too. So Watkins and Rodgers, I kind of want to pepper into my lineups to kind of break up the squads so we don't have stacks of more than 2. So I think you can make some really nice stacks with like 2 Chelsea players, 2 Tottenham players, and then Watkins. And then the other lineup, 2 Chelsea players, 2 Arsenal, or 1 Spurs, 1 Gabriel, and then Morgan Rodgers. You know, I just think that's my thinking. So, and I bought another Inaki Peña. Not another. I bought my first Inaki Peña, again in the winter edition card. I'm a sucker. If you have a card listed in the winter edition from last season, I'm a sucker for it. I'll probably buy it. But I bought this. This is the card that took my Barcelona collection to 5% in 30 days' time. And Inaki Peña is rumored to be leaving. There's rumors he's going to go to some Spanish clubs want him. Como is the latest club who want him in Serie A. It's Como. Cesc Fabregas wants him as his goalkeeper at Como. So I think all of the rumors around him, he could be a first-team goalkeeper somewhere fairly interesting. And I think he's a good goalkeeper. I think he was treated a little bit harshly by Hansi Flick last season. I think he made a few mistakes and then got dropped and then never got back in the team. I think he's a good goalkeeper, 25 years old, still got a lot of years ahead of him, and hopefully he leaves Barcelona. I get to have that 5% bonus on him wherever he goes, and then we've got a playing champion goalkeeper, hopefully. So those are the cards that I bought so far. The cards that I'm thinking of getting, I've got £100 left to spend in my transfer kitty. So I've got 1 more week basically before the Premier League season. And the cards I'm thinking of getting are Morgan Rodgers. If Sorare don't solve my dispute or whatever that is, whatever happens, I'll get a Morgan Rodgers card somehow. Either I've got it already or I'll have to buy another one. So Morgan Rodgers, I want... I'm possibly going to get another Spurs defender. I'm looking at Udogie. Udogie's going for like £6 at the moment. So I'm thinking Thomas Frank likes his wing backs. Pedro Porro on one side, Udogie on the other. Could get some good returns from Udogie, but I'm more confident about Pedro Porro. Udogie's like the budget Porro, but I don't want to go too... I'm not going budget this year. Last year in the Premier League, I bought Nottingham Forest collection, Wolves and Bournemouth and those kind of teams, and I went budget. This year I'm not going like... I'm going a little bit budget because I'm not going for Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal stacks, but I'm not going as budget. So little decisions like, do I go for Udogie and Porro? In the past, I would have gone for Udogie, but now I'm like, Porro's the boy. Spend extra. He'll get you more points. So I want Morgan Rodgers. I want possibly a few more Chelsea players, but like very cheap, the cheaper ones, just to help the squad bonus. Because I am thinking everyone is going to be lining 5 Chelsea cards this coming season, and we're all probably going to have Sanchez, Pedro, Cucurella and Caicedo and Palmer. So I might need to just pick up a few just to get my bonus to like 3% maybe. And there's a few quite good value Chelsea players out there I think are going quite cheap. They might actually play, you don't know, but I've gone for the safe ones that I think will be first team. So Morgan Rodgers, possibly another Spurs player, and maybe a goalkeeper, maybe Vicario from Spurs, but Vicario scores are just so bad. Like, let's look at Vicario. Like, it would make sense for me to get a Vicario because I'm backing Spurs. Oh, wait, we're not in the market. But he's only a little bit cheaper than Sanchez, and I just don't think he's that good of a. Plus, there's like heard rumors that he's not even going to be Spurs' goalkeeper this season. I think he will be, but there were some talk of that maybe Kinski gets the #1 spot. Who knows? But like, if you look at his scores, like look at this, look at this, look at this. Like, they're not inspiring scores. Now, the part of me that is thinking of buying Vicario. It's one, because I've got Spurs collections. I've got the Spurs cards, so it kind of makes sense to put him with them. The other thing is I'm thinking maybe these scores are low because this was Ange. This is Ange's Tottenham, where the defense was a mess and he was conceding loads of goals every game. So, of course, his scores were bad. If Thomas Frank sorts the defense out, then Vicario scores will be better. It's a little bit of a risk though, because you don't know that for certain. So I'm on the fence with Vicario. If I get him, if I see him at a good price, maybe I'll go for him. But for now, he's a maybe, because I'm thinking I might just play my classic. So I've got one Sanchez. That's my one in-season goalkeeper. In my other lineups, because Sanchez will go with Cole Palmer, classic. In my other lineups, I'm thinking of playing a classic goalkeeper and then 4 in-season cards. There are some other players I'm looking at, but they're more in the João Paulinho budget range. 10 to 20 pounds I'm kind of looking at. 10 to 15 pounds I'm looking at. And those players are players like Danny Welbeck at Brighton. Evan Nielsen at Bournemouth. Players like that. So I think these are going to be, if we add Morgan Rogers to the collection, they're going to be my kind of big budget in-season cards to start off with. They're my big guys. I've got £100 left to spend, and I'm not like desperate to spend it all. So after I've added Rodgers, I'm thinking I might just pepper a few players like Evan Nielsen, Danny Welbeck, those type of players where they've got okay fixtures, they're lower priced, and you can just scatter them around your lineups to break up the squad bonuses. So they're the cards I'm looking at. Next week's video will be the last one before the Premier League season starts. So I'll give you an update on who I've got then. But for now, we've had a nice waffle. Let's finish off this week's video by just having a look at some lineups. So we've got, these are my lineups for the coming game week, which is game week 102. And Tigres heavy here. Tigres have got a nice home game. So hopefully all of the Tigres boys play. Then we've got a mixed stack here. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Sergi Dominguez. I bought him. When did I buy him? 6 months ago for 74p. Mainly just to help with my Barcelona collection. A young card. This Barcelona collection, by the way, there's so many young players. And that's why I initially invested in this Barcelona team. Because I was like, I got Rafinha. I got a couple of Lewandowski, a couple of the big boys. And then I was like, hang on, there's so many young 19-year-olds here. Barcelona Academy is very famous for producing great players. I'm just going to get all of the young cards, and some of them might go on to become great players, and I'll have 5% bonuses on them all. So that was my thinking when I bought this guy, but then he'd never played for Barcelona. Look, I just bought him for the collection scores. Came off the bench here with a massive 34 points. Now he's moved. He's moved. He's gone to Dynamo Zagreb. And in his debut, he got 88. 88. Dynamo Zagreb are top of the league, so he's playing for the best team. 88 score on his debut. 4 clearances. 10 duels won. 45 accurate passes. 12 passes into the opposition half. The numbers are crazy for Sergi Dominguez. So I never thought that. When I was building my lineups for this coming game week, I was like, he appeared in my all-star lineup as a suggestion. I was like, what is L15 88? What's happened here? So I've had a look at him. I never even knew he moved. So this could be a really exciting card for me in Classic this year. Sergi Dominguez. Hopefully he can keep that up. I'm captaining him because why not? So he's in there. Couple of Mexican cards. I'm just playing Mexican cards at the moment. A couple of Thiago Silva, a couple of South American cards amongst, and then this lineup is just for the vibes. Santos, heavy Santos with a couple of add-ons. Because your boy loves Santos. He can't help himself. So those are my lineups for the coming week. I just want to show you, I'm going to end my video by giving you my early thoughts on how those Premier League lineups are going to look or could look. So this, I think, is going to be my main Premier League lineup for the first few weeks of the season. I'm not going to be going for the... I'm not going to be worrying about the stack, not having the bonus. So I'm going to be going for 5 Chelsea cards, even though I could break it up. I could go Chelsea, break them up and spread them across so we spread our stacks. I just think if they're going to do well, that extra 6% kind of doesn't matter. If these guys all smash it, get 70 plus, then that's what I'm kind of thinking or hoping. Then I think the extra 6% bonus, I'm not fully certain on that. I think how I'm going to play in season this year is I might have, in all of the competitions I play, one team, like I showed you with my all-star lineups for this coming week. I've got one Tigres stack, which is all Tigres players, 7 Tigres players. And then the rest of the lineups are like, I'm thinking about the bonuses. So this one, I'm not thinking about the bonuses. I'm just thinking 5 best players that I can possibly put together, all from one team. So I'm not relying on other results, because I think a lot of people are getting a little bit distracted by that not having too many teams, because it's only 2%. And if you have a lineup with 2 from one team, 2 from one team, and then 1 from another, you need 3 results to go your way. You need all 3 results to go your way. Whereas if you go for just one stack, yeah, you don't get the 2% bonus, but you just need 1 result to go your way. You just need Chelsea to beat Crystal Palace. If I go 2 Chelsea, 2 Spurs, and then 1 Ollie Watkins, I need Chelsea, Spurs, and Villa all to do well. So I think it's worth doing both. Having one where it's like one team, and then one where it's like mixed. That isn't an example of mixed, but these lineups aren't set in stone yet. This one probably is. This one, I'll probably take Pedro Porro out and put Ollie Watkins or Rodgers or Gabriel, or if I sign someone like Danny Welbeck or Evan Nielsen, someone like that, they can go there. And then I can make a third lineup, which... So I think Sanchez is going to be key for me this year. I've got Sanchez here and Sanchez in Classic. I've got some good goalkeepers in Classic. I've got, you can see him here. I've got Jose Sa at Wolves. When they have a good fixture, maybe that's a good game. But Dean Henderson at Crystal Palace, when they've got even an average fixture, that's a great goalkeeper. Ramsdale, I've got a Ramsdale. Maybe he's going to become Newcastle #1 goalkeeper. Ramsdale could be a good option this season. Matt Sells at Nottingham Forest, amazing goalkeeper. So I've got like 3 or 4 good options here in goalkeeper. So my third lineup is going to be... So I'm always going to have Sanchez in season, Sanchez Classic. And then one of the other 2 lineups will be those goalkeepers you saw with other cards around them. So at the moment, we could go for... Obviously, I want to go for Henderson against Chelsea. But at the moment, this is what I mean. I need a few more cards. I've got Gabriel. I've got Watkins. So Watkins and Morgan Rogers could be here. And then if I sign another player, it could go here. Or Morgan Rogers could be the midfielder. We can get another card here. So I'm looking at maybe doing 3 lineups for the first week of the Premier League season. We need one of those lineups to hit 360 points so we can start the hot streaks on fire. And I think even if I don't sign any more cards, this has a good chance of hitting 360. And this, if I tweak it and maybe swap Porro for Watkins, that has a good chance of hitting 360 as well. And then we'll have a third team, which probably won't be as competitive, but these 2 teams will be. So that's my thinking so far. Those are my new cards. What do you think? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Follow, like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Good luck with your in-season planning. Also, let me know if there's any bargains that you think I could think about within that £10 to £15 range. The kind of Evan Nielsen types, Danny Welbeck types, those type of players that I'm kind of looking at. Do you know of any others that I could think about, that I could look at, that I could scout? Let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you next week, because Road to Sorare Boss is back to being weekly now. I'll see you next week. Peace.